Vocal warm up. Vocal warm up. Prepare my voice. Bum, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, bum. The people love that bit. Bow, wow. Bum, bow, wow. Ba, 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 ba. I'm hearing from lots of people that's their favorite bit. Wow, what a bop. Dang, this really rocks. Yellowstone, welcome to the Yellowstone. That's not great. To be honest with you guys, I'm not a great freestyle lyricist. Much to everyone's surprise in this room, I'm not a great freestyle lyricist.
Yeah, those weren't really lyrics. That was just kind of the title of the show.
The title of the show. We're talking about Yellowstone. We're gonna find out. Hey, my name's Jefferson White. I play Jimmy on the Paramount Network's Yellowstone, and this is Welcome to the Yellowstone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for clicking on us. There's so much to click on. An ocean of bright, shiny things to click on. Companies saying, hey, click on me. You want a weird watch? Here's a new kind of pants. You clicked on us instead, and that rocks, because there's no new pants to come from this. If anything, old pants, jeans, hard-working pants, America's pants. America's pants. The point I'm trying to make is it rocks that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. This is episode 6, and we are talking about Yellowstone, episode 106, The Remembering. Let's get into it. Once again, the producers have told me that due to budget cuts, they're only going to allow for a 5-minute recap of the episode. I'm getting a signal from our producer.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. America wants more.
I don't know if that's true.
Oh yeah, maybe they want less. Maybe that's the message I should take from all this, is they want much, much less. They want much less of me and my face. All right, check it out. Yellowstone, episode 106, The Remembering, in 5 minutes. Timer, begin. Okay, so the very first thing we see is Kayce taking his stallion out for a ride. Right, he's breaking in this horse. He promised John Dutton he would help train this horse that he gave him back in the pilot. Kayce's taking the horse out for a ride, and he very quickly stumbles across a big-ass fucking bear. A huge bear that will become an important character, so don't forget this bear. Kayce thinks he's in real trouble. The bear rears up on its hind legs. Kayce sort of resigns himself to maybe getting fucking chomped by this bear when a gunshot rings out, scaring the bear off, and it's your hero and mine, Rip Wheeler, come to save the day, as usual. But for Kayce, the relief is sort of short-lived because we learned very quickly that Rip and Kayce have a past. They don't necessarily get along great, and Rip sort of jumps off his horse and they punch each other like a bunch of times until one of them falls over, which happens to be Kayce. It's very intense. We sort of learn very quickly that Rip and Kayce have a contentious past planting the seeds. Seeds are getting planted. So the very next thing that happens, if you recall, Kayce and Monica stayed at the ranch last night, which is why Kayce and Monica are still on the ranch. Monica talks to JD and confronts him. When I say JD, I mean John Dutton. It's an abbreviation. It's a little bit of slang for those of us that are really in the know. JD is JD is John Dutton. DJ, Dan Jenkins. JD, John Dutton. DJ, Dan Jenkins. I'm burning time. I do not have this time to spare. So check it out. Monica confronts JD about the brand. She saw Walker getting branded last night. She's like, what's up with that? Kayce has it too. What's going on? And John Dutton doesn't really tell her. He won't really tell her. She says, why does Kayce have it? John Dutton says, he disobeyed me one too many times. Monica says, what? What'd he do? And Kayce says, and John Dutton says that he got you pregnant. He disobeyed my wishes when he got you pregnant, and he sort of forswore this whole life. So obviously there's a lot of tension then between JD and Monica. The next thing we do is we see out fly fishing on vacation, Sarah Nguyen, a reporter, and a very, very sort of important character, especially in these last few episodes of the season. So we meet Sarah Nguyen, who's basically vacationing in Montana, but is also at the same time reading these news stories about John Dutton and the sort of contentious dispute over this cattle in the Indian reservation. Remember her, very important character. Then Rainwater is sort of trying to figure out his approach to taking down John Dutton in the Yellowstone. He wants to buy up land, and he starts looking at Dan Jenkins' land development. So Dan Jenkins has all this land that basically he can't do anything with because in the pilot, the water was redirected around this land, so they have no way to get energy infrastructure to this land. So Dan Jenkins wants to build this development, but he can't do it. But he's still got all these lots of land. Rainwater wants land and has a ton of money. So all of a sudden, our enemies, they're all complicated. Rainwater and Dan Jenkins are talking, hanging out, sort of maybe joining forces, question mark? Trying to see if maybe their enemy of the enemy is their friend. Then Jamie and Beth head to Governor Perry's office to meet with her. You might remember that that Jamie is going to be running for Attorney General. As the Attorney General of Montana retires, Jamie's going to step into his shoes, which is another way in which John Dutton consolidates power. He tries to put people that he can control in all these Montana political offices. Jamie's going to run as an independent for Attorney General, and he's going to run unopposed, undisputed, as this incumbent Attorney General retires, and John Dutton will support him. So then Governor Perry confronts Beth. There's a lot of tension between Governor Perry and Beth because Beth obviously misses her mother. Evelyn Dutton and Governor Perry and John Dutton are sleeping together, so there's a lot of sort of dispute and tension there. But Perry also reveals to Jamie that John Dutton has colon cancer, and Jamie didn't know this. Nobody knew this, really. None of John Dutton's kids. So Jamie rushes back to the ranch to confront John Dutton about this. So while he's headed back to the ranch, Monica and Tate are headed back to their home on the res, and they pull up to the school that Monica teaches at, and there's a schoolyard fight happening. Monica jumps out of the car and very bravely wants to stop this fight. She wants to intervene, but in trying to stop the fight, she gets punched by one of these kids accidentally and falls and hits her head on the sidewalk and is knocked unconscious. So Monica's in trouble. John Dutton and Kayce get a call. They're rushing to try to help her. They rush to get Monica to the hospital and make sure she's okay. So while that's happening, John Dutton heads back to the ranch. Okay, that's impossible. That's literally impossible. It can't be done. You're a maniac. You're a maniac and you won't stop me. You can't stop me from telling the truth. And what I want to talk about is a very critical scene in which Beth confronts John Dutton about seeing Governor Perry, and John Dutton, who's sort of like, all these things have been weighing on him, all these like conflicts have sort of been piling up. John Dutton sort of snaps on Beth for the first time. John Dutton tells Beth, don't talk to me about your mother, don't fucking sweat me about seeing Governor Perry, back off, let me live my life, that's not what, it's much better writing than that. I didn't write it. If I had written it, it would have said, back off, let me live my life. But the scene itself is very beautiful and like artfully constructed. It's an amazing scene. Then Rainwater and Mo, his driver, and Mo Brings Plenty, incredible actor, go to Dan Jenkins' club to talk to Dan and sort of pitch him on that plan, the plan to join forces to take down Rainwater. And Dan Jenkins, is initially a little wary. He doesn't know if he can trust Rainwater. Rainwater doesn't know if he can trust him, and they're sort of feeling out whether an alliance makes sense. Then, very importantly after that, at the end of the episode, a drone shows up on the res, shows up at Kayce and Monica's house. This drone is sort of scouting around, treasure hunting, ostensibly. And they scare it off. But then Monica, who had been released from the hospital but was a little woozy, collapses. Clearly her injury is more serious than we realized at the very end of this episode. She collapses. Great, that's Yellowstone, episode 106. Lot to unpack there. Okay, so let's go into let's get a little nitty gritty. Episode MVP. That is going to be, for this episode, it's two in this episode. It's Monica Long, Kelsey Asbill, and it's Governor Perry, right? So Monica has an incredibly sort of she's got a lot of great scenes this episode. Her early scene with JD talking about Kayce's brand. Then she tries to intervene in this fight. She gets punched. It's a very sort of heavy Monica episode. And also Governor Perry, like an amazing scene between Governor Perry and Beth talking about Governor Perry lost her husband, just like John Dutton lost his wife. Very powerful stuff there, too. So Governor Perry and Monica Long, dual MVPs. My grandma's favorite line of the episode, my grandma loves all the swearing on Yellowstone. It's like her favorite part. She keeps saying, ugh, look, less happy, fun bullshit, more swearing and violence. That's my grandma's main thing. Like, if you were going to quote my grandma, that's what you could say. So her favorite line of the episode is when John Dutton says, "Can I have one day without a crisis, one fucking day?" That's my grandma's favorite line. Okay. Here's a fun Easter egg for this episode. Jimmy doesn't appear in this episode at all. But a fun little Easter egg about the filming of this episode is while this episode was being filmed, I was just fully roasting Denham Richards and Halo every day. While they were filming this shit, me and Denham Richards, 1v1 Halo Reach, truly like 20-0 over and over again. I mean, there's a thing that happens in Halo, especially 1v1, where there's like a momentum thing where like once you get the rocket launcher, you can basically just kind of spawn camp the rocket launcher. And just sort of get in a kind of cycle of terrible prophetic momentum, especially when you're playing on one screen because you can just screen look. And that's like part of it. Everybody's like, don't screen look. Are you kidding me? It's part of the game. You use every weapon at your advantage. And in this case, it's the rocket launcher and it's screen looking. So you immediately see where your opponent spawns. You've still got the rocket launcher and you just kind of get in this terrible cycle. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that a fun Easter egg about the filming of this episode is that while this episode was being filmed, Denham Richards was roasting me at basketball, general sort of discipline, dietary health, a lot of things. But I was roasting him fully at Halo Reach 1v1. Fun Easter egg. Okay. Great. Yeah.
Does anyone die in this episode?
Does anyone die in this episode? In memoriam. Does anyone die in this episode? I don't think so. I mean, there's some close calls. Kayce almost gets eaten by that bear right at the top. Monica, obviously, there's a lot going on there. Pretty worried about that. I don't think anyone dies, though. Dang. So you know we're building to something chaotic. Just really quick, I just want to talk about Rudy Ramos, who plays Felix Long. That guy's an incredible actor. And our characters never overlap. Jimmy and Felix Long never overlap, but he's amazing, and so it's so fun to watch those scenes. It's so fun to have read them and then see them without having been present for their shooting, because just as a fan of the show, it's such a delight to discover that stuff for the first time by watching it. And Rudy is an amazing actor who I think sort of brings so much to that world, and also makes it such a compelling argument to stay on the res, I think, to a certain extent. It feels like it's easy to be like, oh, go live on the Dutton Ranch. There's all these resources, there's all this money, there's all this other stuff, but when you see the sort of power of family and the sort of power of the cultural identity that's associated with a life on the res, it makes that conflict in Kayce and Monica and Tate, I think, really personal and really sort of intimate and difficult and thorny and hard to untangle. Hell yeah, dramaturgy. Bria, you got any questions?
I do. I have questions. Well, the internet has questions.
Okay.
So Crispy Paradise from Instagram wants to know, would you like to have a baby calf as a pet, like the one you saved in season 1?
Oh my God, I would love to have a baby calf as a pet, but they don't stay small, and I have a very small apartment. I live in New York, so my apartment is it's smaller than the studio that we're sitting in now, which is a pretty small studio as far as studios go. In my apartment, I can stretch out full wingspan, toe to hand, and touch both walls, and I get one room. In New York, I have 3 roommates. I pay $1,200 a month, and I have 3 roommates. There's 4 of us. The point I'm trying to make is, cows are expensive and big, and that's 2 things that are hard to justify. I love, when I do Yellowstone, I get to go pet all these horses, I get to pet all the cows. I love that. If anything, I get in trouble for petting them too much. I've often gotten in trouble for from a wrangler, because they're also horse trainers, and it's important with a horse to incentivize them to do a good job and sort of, encourage them when they do what you want and discipline them when they don't. So I sometimes get in trouble for petting the horses too much, because because I want to pet them, not because they did anything good. Even if they do something wrong, I'll be like, ah. And my version of discipline is just petting the horse further. It's more petting of the horse. So yeah, I wish I could have a calf, but calf's big. Cow's big. And also, like, I think this show is maybe about how hard this lifestyle is, like how hard it is to maintain a herd of cattle. And I'm not ready. I'm not ready to sign up for that.
So, kind of related, H for Pig, I don't know if I'm saying that right, wants to know if you were afraid of horses before you started working on the show.
I was afraid of horses before I started working on the show. I'm still a little afraid of horses. Or, like, I have, like, a healthy respect for horses. Like, horses are massive, powerful animals that if they wanted to, they could fucking destroy you. But the same could be said for, like, Cole Hauser, you know what I mean? Like, he's a massive, powerful animal that if he was really mad at you, could hurt you very badly. But what I learned about horses is, much like Cole Hauser, is they got no real reason to be mad at you. If they're mad at you, they could fuck you up. So I guess I spend a lot of time trying to keep the horses that I work with happy and trying to keep Cole Hauser happy so he doesn't crush me with one of his hooves. That's a powerful guy. Dang. Horses, too.
How much of the horse riding scenes do you do yourself?
I do all the low-key stuff. I do the, like, Jimmy trots down the fence. That's me. Anything that's like Jimmy gallops at a full sprint. I'm working my way up to those. I do some of those. And then anything that's like Jimmy gets thrown from the horse. That's not me. That's my incredibly talented stuntman, Bobby Roberts, who has been playing Jimmy as long as I have and rocks and is like both an incredibly talented stunt performer and an incredibly talented actor and makes Jimmy look way cooler than I ever could. So I do the non-stunt related riding, I would say.
So here's a pretty simple question from JDog4222. Do you love your job?
I do love my job. I really do. I think any job in the world has good things and bad things associated with it. And I think it's easy sometimes to imagine that someone else's job is perfect. I think there's a grass is greener mentality that we all have where I look at someone else and I say, wow, what a perfect job. So being an actor, being on Yellowstone, it's not a perfect job. It's amazing. There's a lot of really great stuff with it, and there's a lot of really hard stuff associated with it, too. But I love it. I'm very grateful. I feel very, 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 very lucky. Very, very lucky.
CA Quirky Gal asks, what has been your most challenging acting role so far?
I mean, it's this one. It's Yellowstone for sure. Just to remind everyone, in case you aren't already aware, I have a scar on my butt that will never heal. That represents challenge. That's a challenge. Permanent butt scar? Yeah. This is the first role from which I've had a permanent scar on my butt.
Do you hope to have more roles?
God, we can only hope. You know, it's only so lucky, you know? I mean, only so lucky. There's so much more of my butt to scar. You know, it's like when you're signing a card for everyone at the office and there's like not that much room left and you look, we could get a lot more scars on this butt. It's a big butt. I'm sort of pear-shaped as a person. Have you noticed this about me, America? Sorry.
Emily C.J. McGee says, what's been the hardest scene to shoot either emotionally or physically?
Wow. Physically, some of the bronc riding sequences are really exhausting. I don't ride the bronc itself, but I ride a sort of mechanical horse that they pull behind a four-wheeler that just kicks the shit out of me. It's metal, and it just bounces against your butt in a really violent way that's very difficult. And then emotionally, you know, in the second season, Jimmy's grandfather passing, I think, is a really is a sort of very human and very universal experience. But to sort of dip into that over and over again, take after take, I think does take a toll. And obviously, every actor has a different sort of process and a different experience of shooting those sort of heavy scenes. But I do, on days where I'm sort of doing heavy emotional, given circumstances like that, it does really wear you out.
And the last one for today is from Matthew Thorne. Has being on the set of Yellowstone made you more of a cowboy?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I started at 0 cowboy, and now I'm maybe at like 7% cowboy, so objectively 100%. Well, not objectively, yes, more cowboy. I still got a long, long way to go. anytime I think I got it figured out, anytime I'm like, dang, I'm pretty tough. Holy shit, look at me. Look at me. Woo! Then, like, Bobby Roberts, I don't know, like, juggles horses. And I remember that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I'm a child. I also, like, in between seasons, I still think I'm good at it, and then I come back, and, like, my hands have gotten all soft again from my easy lifestyle in New York, where I just, like, go to coffee shops and feel ennui all day. So, yeah, you know, there's a long way to go. Over the course of the next 19 seasons, hopefully I'll work my way up to full-time Cowboy. Amazing. I think maybe right now a fun thing to do might be to listen to some voicemails.
I think that's a great idea.
Hell yeah. That's my idea, though.
How'd you come up with that?
I sort of looked at you, and you suggested with your eyes that it was the right thing to do, which is convenient because it's also exactly what the fuck I wanted to do. Okay, this is, we put on Instagram a number to call to leave a message. We asked people what their favorite moments of season 1 was. I haven't heard these before.
Jefferson, I was calling to comment on the Yellowstone page. Hey, man, I'm Southern Oklahoma, born and raised, and just the deal whenever Costner was out there in the middle of that field with all those people out in this field, and the comment about we don't share land, man, that nothing resonated more to me than what I've heard my entire life. You got to buy what they're not making any more of, and that's land. So that's what I've done, and hey, I just appreciated that comment, and I loved it. So anyway, I wanted to call and share that. So have a good day. Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. In New York, we share land. I got 4 roommates. I share a kitchen, I share a bathroom. Boy. So yeah, maybe I'll like tape off the living room. Anytime one of my roommates tries to come over to my little corner, I'll say, hey, this is my corner of the living room. We don't share land. No, that rocks. God, I wish. One day. That's the dream. Maybe that is in some part the American dream, I think. To have something that's yours, that's permanent. That's beautiful. Our producer, Bria, here is from Oklahoma.
I am indeed. I forgot where I was from for a second. Broken Arrow is the name of the town.
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Right.
We got real Midwest credentials out here.
We do.
That rocks.
It's a good place.
It's a good place.
Not to be confused with the John Travolta film.
Broken Arrow, which I've also seen. John Travolta and Christian Slater, I think.
Yes.
That movie rocks. A Broken Arrow, that movie wants to suggest that a Broken Arrow is the code name for like a missing nuclear weapon.
Yeah, my town is not that exciting.
That's not what happens in your town? Dang. I'll be like, oh, it's in that town. That's easy to find. It's not that missing. It's in that small town. Okay, not a small town necessarily. Let's listen to another voicemail.
Yeah, Owen Walzer, Instagram, owalsby98. I would just like to ask, what's it like working with Kevin Costner? I love the guy.
Yeah, he rules. He's really good at acting. He's really good at acting. It's like getting to work, with Michael Jordan if you're a basketball player, I imagine. It's incredible. It's like, and one of the things I love about it is if you think about like a Michael Jordan, it's not just about the points that he scores, it's about how he like sets up other people to score, because that's what it's like with Kevin in a scene. Like Kevin not only is an incredible actor, but he's an incredible scene partner and is sort of constantly, incredibly generously supporting the work of everyone around him. The other actors in the scene, but also the camera operators, the sound operators. Kevin sort of is such an expert at the craft that he, with everything he does, supports the work of all 200 people on the set. It's incredible.
Hey, this is Jefferson White. My Instagram account is _Jefferson White. Hey, Jefferson. So you've been doing this for a few episodes now. Let me ask you this: do you feel like the audience is getting to know the real you, or like your therapist says, do you think that you're constantly performing as a sort of defense mechanism to avoid letting anyone get close? Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.
Dang. I called and left that message. I think it was like 1 a.m. the night before we started doing this, and I didn't remember having left it. Don't dunk on me, past Jeff. Me, present Jeff, is trying as hard as I fucking can. You don't see me dunking on future Jeff? Yeah, I do. That guy's an idiot. Fuck that guy, man. I'm not going to see this for a while because, post-production takes a little bit, especially with the way that I keep making them animate little titles. Pew, pew, like that. So, future Jeff? Fuck you, man. No, I'm just kidding. You seem cool. Past Jeff's an asshole. Present Jeff, he's doing okay.
My name is Will Warner. My Instagram handle is @WillWarner2. And my favorite season is my favorite part's when Walker says, "Is your field rip?" And then I love that part. And then when Jimmy wins the belt buckle, that's good too. Bye.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. I love that too. Ryan Bingham, who plays Walker, is, again, it's a little unfair. He's an incredible musician and he's an incredible actor. And he's like hilariously funny. Triple threat. Many threats. He's also a great cowboy. That's 4 threats. It's deeply unfair. Okay, guys, so Yellowstone, incredibly popular show, very successful by every metric. Most watched cable drama this summer. Huge numbers. The numbers they're seeing, 35 billion viewers, 216 trillion individual tweets using the hashtag Yellowstone TV. 216 trillion, isn't that crazy? I didn't even know there were that many thoughts that a person, the theories, individual fan theories. So many people are using the hashtag Jimmy is the toughest cowboy on the ranch. Hashtag Jefferson White is taller than any other actor in the world. So many people are using these hashtags. The show is very successful is the point I'm trying to make. So what we're doing is we're playing a very fun game where we're asking my friends simple trivia questions about the show. Let's call my friend Kayce WORTMANN. This isn't Kayce Worthington, who so spectacularly failed earlier. This is my friend Kayce WORTMANN, who I think will impress us. So Kayce and I first met doing Shakespeare in Door County, Wisconsin in 2013. Shout out to Door Shakes. Shout out to Matt Foss. Shout out to, the whole staff and community of Door County Shakes. So this is my friend Kayce. Since then, Kayce and I have worked together, collaborated on a bunch of stuff. She's an incredibly talented actor. She's an incredibly funny writer. This is Kayce WORTMANN.
Hello.
Kayce, it's Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. You're live right now. Not really live. You're being recorded in a room with a bunch of producers and my bosses, effectively. I think I explained to you that the premise here is we're calling up some of my friends and we're asking them 5 very simple Yellowstone trivia questions. And then the winner, the person who gets the most of these questions right, will, legally speaking, become my new best friend.
Got it. Great.
So we've got a contract drawn up. I've signed it. It's legally binding. Whoever it is that answers all 5 of these questions right will, legally speaking, be my best friend or enter into a runoff if they're in the event of a tie. So far we've had some very disappointing entries, and we've had some very surprising sort of come from behind underdog stories. There is a competitive field at play here.
Be confident, honestly.
Amazing. Okay, let's start. We'll start the easiest. What is Kevin Costner's character's name?
Okay. John Dutton.
Amazing. 1 for 1. Here's an unrelated question. Which of my friends do you think didn't know the answer to that question? 2 people so far have not.
Kayce Worthington.
Yeah. He didn't know. He didn't know Kevin Costner's character's name. There's one other friend that didn't know.
Yeah. I feel like Dan probably did.
Correct. Dan did.
Maybe Grace?
I didn't call Grace.
Okay.
Because I thought she'd do too well. She'd know. Ben didn't know. Yeah, Ben
Ben
didn't know. He didn't know the character's name.
Okay, great.
Heartbreaking. So here's the next one for you. What is John Dutton's youngest son's name?
Kayce.
Boom, friggin' nailed it. Kayce Worthington didn't know that one, and his name is Kayce.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's deeply embarrassing.
As is my name. So
as is
that
your
one
name.
I obviously would know.
Okay, what is Casey Dutton's son's name?
Kate.
Tate, nailed it. 3 for 3. You're crushing. Okay. What is my character's name, first and last?
Jimmy Hurdstrom.
Nailed it. Amazing. You're coasting. I will tell you that Dan got this far, and with a lot more hesitation and pausing and sort of hemming and hawing. But you are right now tied with Dan. So this question right now will determine how, just know that you're right on the edge. What is John Dutton's father's name?
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
When is his name mentioned?
He's in episode 210.
Ah, fuck. Can you give me a hint?
It's a little obvious, so it's hard to give you a hint. And maybe that is itself a hint.
Is it also John Dutton?
Fucking nailed it.
Really?
Look, Dan just guessed, so Dan just happened, he Hail Mary guessed that one and got it right. So right now, you're 5 for 5, Kayce. That's very impressive.
Wow. Thank you.
You want to get real nasty and do some really difficult ones, just to sort of show, so the folks at home who are real OGs can get some right?
Yeah, let's try.
All right, what's Rainwater's driver's name?
Mo.
Fucking nailed it. Okay, what's the name of the company?
Right?
Yeah, you nailed it. What's the name of the company that Beth works for?
Okay, no.
What's Beth's assistant's name? He dies in season 2.
Jason?
Fucking
Is it
Jason.
Jason? Just
Nailed
Jason.
it. Very, very good. Okay, what's the name of Jamie's campaign manager on his campaign for Attorney General?
It's like, I don't know.
Christina. That's a good one though. That's you're doing great.
Christina.
What's the name of the reporter that Jamie spills his beans to and tells all of John Dutton's secrets to and then kills in season 2?
Sarah Wen.
Yeah, Nguyen. Yep, nailed it.
How do you pronounce her last name?
Nguyen. Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. Look, Kayce, you've done great. You went like 8 for 9 in the challenge round. That's really remarkable.
I mean, I watched the show. I am the only one that watched the show.
Yeah, after building me up so much by doing so well, it is true that you're the only one of my friends that watches the show. Dan went 5 for 5, but just sort of sheerly by force of will.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
He didn't get Tate's name, but he got Brecken, who plays Tate. So that was like, it's clear that Dan has like listened to me while I talk about the show.
No, that doesn't count. Yeah, no, I definitely beat Dan by a lot, I'd say.
Dang. The producers in the room are signaling, that they're gonna fly you to LA for the Yellowstone season 3 premiere. They're saying they're gonna set you up in a 4-star hotel. You're getting a star on the Walk of Fame. They're sort of making a star sign. Kayce, thank you so much.
One. Are they gonna?
That's a good point. They'll put it next to your first one.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll talk to you very soon. You rule.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Guys, when I started this dang thing out, I thought I was going to be disappointed by my community. Little do you know, if you just reach out and ask, maybe people care more than you know.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Such a good job.
Such a good job. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, for hanging out, for your questions, for your comments. Wow. We feel so lucky to get to do this. We feel so lucky to get to hang out with you like this. Thank you. If you want to see more of this, make sure you're following Yellowstone on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And make sure you're following the Paramount Network on YouTube. I did that one after TikTok, so they have to leave that whole TikTok bit in the edit. Otherwise, it won't cut. That's a cool film term for you. Otherwise, it won't cut. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is thank you so much for joining us. Have a good one. See you soon. Thanks again for being here. Bye now.